So this video lesson is going to be discussing these projects that you're going to be asked to do in terms of your responses to the first two units of modern literature, the short story and poetry units. As will be talked about in class, this is a different way of approaching both teaching and most importantly your learning. So it's important that you listen and have an understanding and of course ask questions because we're going through this together and seeing what works and doesn't work. And I'm going to trust you to take it somewhat seriously. I shouldn't even say somewhat, completely seriously, and to assist me with feedback about what works or doesn't work. This first part here that's listed will be this definition of what you're writing towards. And it's this term that you're going to hear at the start of this, and you're going to hear it throughout. And it's this phrase, the human condition. And you'll see it's listed right there. And it says reference below. This is what great literature was written for. It wasn't written for, and this is what's in the paragraph, for fame or for money. The great writers wrote to somehow speak to this human condition, to speak to some elements that make us all human, and some elements to make you think beyond your world and your existence, and to how others live, think, and feel. And that's exactly what you're going to be asked to do. So I'm going to just go through some quick requirements here of what this project requires, and that's pretty simple. It's listed here. There's multiple pieces that we'll read. You're going to reference at least 3 of them. It has to have something to do, your theme, your concept, your driving force behind this project with this term, the human condition. And as always, if you want to use additional sources, of course, you'll cite them. So this human condition that's listed on this, and this of course will be on Google Classroom. It's a thematic concern, a theme, a point to a story that has something to do with us being humans, this condition of being human and what separates us from the animal world in so many ways, or not as much sometimes. And I'm not going to go through all of these. These are potential themes in reference to this human condition that you could find anywhere, most of the time in quality literature. And it has to do with how we live our lives, human nature, human and society. And these are kind of heavy hitting where you have to think. In addition, in quality literature, the author doesn't slow down and say something like, this is the part of the short story where I'm going to talk about how we are naturally evil or good. That doesn't happen. The author's writing about it through examples of characters and what those characters do around and near each other for you to understand and for you to analyze and for you to absorb and to make some connection to. And that's what's so great about a piece of literature that's of high quality like this. When it is a reasonably vague topic and a topic that's not just supplied to you, it allows for multiple perspectives. And I'm hoping that it happens here too. Not every person reads the same piece of literature the same way. And so these are, and you can have more, if you find something else that seems to fit in this definition, which is very loosely formed, you just let me know, and I'm assuming it will work if it's of high quality. So this is what it will all center around. And your only requirements are that 3 of the pieces end up in this project, which we'll get to in a moment. It has some relation to this concept of the human condition, and of course you cite additional sources. This is the paragraph of most important. The form is literally up to you. You're going to choose what you're going to discuss and how you're going to discuss it. And I guess all that's really being asked is that it's of college level work. And you have a whole pile of them listed here. And you're not limited to these, like this product, this end project. There's a variety of ways this could look. It could be something like a standard literary analysis paper. You're more than welcome to do a standard essay like we've done so many times in this class. I don't know, perhaps you want some sort of analysis of a few characters where you don't do entire stories, you just relate to particular characters. Perhaps there's some modern day figures that you could weave into your discussion. I don't know, technology of some form or fashion. I don't know what that would be. Some of you are much more techie than I am. Perhaps you have a project that would be interesting, and of course being able to use Google Apps and Google Classroom lends that to you. Maybe instead of doing it like a paper, you'll set it up like a presentation. And this presentation will have pictures and video links and something like that. Perhaps you'll make your own videos and upload them to YouTube and put them in there. I don't know what that would be. An alternative ending of some sort if you're the creative writing type. Perhaps you'll create a fake blog or a blogging profile of the author and somehow, discuss important parts of it as if you were the author. I'm trying to lend it to ways where you're showing thought and you're showing discussion without having to be limited and pigeonholed to just the same old essays that we've written so many times, though you're more than welcome to do that. It could be any of these. There's others listed there too. I guess what I'm getting at is number one is the topics are somewhat limitless. Obviously, you can't say that you just want to do like a coloring book of it or something like that. That just seems to be too simple. And these are the two that you have to show some maturity for. It's not meant to be a joke or a blow off assignment. You're discussing these very deep, thoughtful, literary concepts of the human condition. I'm just giving you a different framework in which to discuss it. And then, of course, you decide. So you're going to do this for both of them. Some of you will like this because freedom is nice and you're creative. Some of you will be like, just tell me what to do. But in our discussions that we're going to have before we even get into this semester of this class is that you're playing student. You're not thinking for yourself. And a huge part of this is indeed thinking for yourself, to think outside the box, to have some sort of your own personal motivation. So this will be set on Google Classroom. We'll talk about it some in class, and you're more than welcome to ask me questions. And it won't make as much sense if you read this right away or watch this right away, excuse me, wow, until you've read the stories. If you're waiting for me to give you some sort of quizzes on the stories or some sort of a test, a multiple choice test, I'm not going to do as such, and some of you will be able to operate within that freedom, and some of you might not as well. We'll see how this goes. So if you have questions, we'll talk about it in class. You can send me a message through Classroom, and we will go from there.